Hello. So in my last video, I just briefly touched on agent skills. I created an agent skills. That was the one to do with using it to run a C# single file-based application. Um, in this video, though, I thought I'd go a little bit deeper into agent skills. There's tons of videos out there. I'm not trying to reproduce what everybody else is doing out there. If you want some base level understanding, you can certainly go out there. But just know that this thing called agent skills, Anthropic um, released it back in, what was it, October, made it an open standard in December. So this is kind of some information there. There's an agent skills.io, and it kind of talks about that specification. I mentioned in the last one that the specification really, it's name and description at the top here. This is the standard you're supposed to do. And then whatever your the tooling that understands what skills are will parse that information and then dynamically load up skills. Okay, so I mentioned kind of that before, but since then there was a few or a couple of interesting things going on. So one of the ones is Vercel introduced this NPX skills installation, so you can bring in skills, and then they kind of have a rating here as well on their website, which is pretty neat. You can kind of see which skills are in demand. Now, I'd be very cautious personally. I wouldn't be installing just any skills that are out there. You're going to see all sorts of skills in this um, repo versus other ones as well that are out there. So I'm going to in this demo here show using a couple of the more popular skills, this web design guidelines and skill creator. So what do I mean by that? Well, so this again is an open agent skills ecosystem, shows a bunch of different skills that are out there. There's 22,000 skills that you can find crossing various things that you want to do. And so if I go into this web design skills, if I read this, I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is, it kind of says these are sort of the things that you should be doing if you're developing web pages. So I'm like, I like that skill. So I'm gonna install it. So up here, you can just click that to copy it, go over to your command prompt over here, and I'll just install that skills. And it will ask me here in a moment. It comes up with this nice little graphic. It's saying, hey, do you want to install it? Now, I don't have anti-gravity, so I'm just going to remove that. I don't have Cloud Code. I don't have Gemini CLI. I just have the compliant to the company GitHub Copilot. So I'll say, yeah, install it to the project. I'll just accept a couple other defaults there. And I always get this, for some reason, this assertion failed, but it always seems to work. So there's this new skill, and alongside my other hello world type of skills. And if you look at here, this is where I mentioned that sometimes these skills, um, they're just prompts. I mean, they're prompts that might instruct the agent. So in this case, GitHub Copilot to do something. So in this case, it's actually saying, hey, we're not going to try to put all of our guidelines here. Instead, it actually wants you to go out and find the rest of the guidelines that are out here. So that's kind of interesting. So then I can say something like, you know, evaluate the let's say GitHub, as long as I spell it right, GitHub using the web design guidelines. Okay, so now like I just loaded up that skill. GitHub Copilot then knows, because it's in this .github skills. It also supports, I think, .claude skills too, if I remember correctly. Um, you can look at the documentation regarding that. But the easiest way is just to put it into that GitHub skills. Now it is doing whatever that skill says it should do. So it's just kind of figuring out, how good is GitHub.com based off of the web design guidelines, and a lot of good information here. And I'll just pause this for a second and let this finish. Oh, it actually just finished in time. So let's say I looked at this. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty good, and that's a pretty good summary, and and that's great. But I'm like, but wait, but what if I want to like grade it, and so maybe I want to create a skill to grade websites based off of these design guidelines. So what you need to do there then is there's also another skill out there, and you see it's the fifth currently rated one. It's called Skill Creator, and it's again by Vercel, or no, by Anthropic, sorry. So I'm going to copy that skill, install it here, and again, it's going to prompt me saying, where do I want to install it? Just let it work its magic here. I don't need it for these. I will install it. Oops. If I can get back to the, there we go. Just let it do its thing. Again, I got the search and failed. Don't know why I get that. So now that I have the skill creator, this is going to help me create skills. And so now I'll create a new skill based off of an existing skill. So I have here a prompt, create a new skill that extends the web design guideline skill, that this other skill that was out there that produced all that other output. And I'll put an executive summary and an overall rating score of A to F, just like a teacher would grade it. Okay, so I'll let that chug, and you can kind of see how it's going to work. It's kind of telling me, oh yeah, you want to output an executive summary, provide an overall score. Again, it's doing GitHub Copilot-y thing in agentic mode. And you'll see here in a second, it's going to even decide a name here. We'll see what name it's going to give it. I'll just pause while it works just a little bit more. Okay, so this time it's calling it web design audit. I think in the last ones, I should have probably gave it an actual name. I think in the past when I've done this little demo to myself to make sure this is going to work, I think I called it like web design grader, which I kind of like better. So I probably should have given it a name. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to give it 2 to 3 paragraph overview, letter grade. Great. So yeah, it finished it. So let's take a look at this. So again, it's a skill MD file, and really it just is going to wrap over the other one. Oh, interesting. It actually came up with points depending on how well it does. So yeah, so let's now grade github.com using this newly created skill. Okay, so I'll let that chug for a little bit, and I'll just pause while it finishes the work. Okay, it's coming back right now. A bit, again, it's non-deterministic what it's going to come out here. It actually graded uh, GitHub as a B plus. In the past, it was an A or an A plus when I did this demo. So it's kind of funny. I don't know what it didn't like here, but yeah. So anyways, so that's what skills are. So think of it as like, again, they're skills. They're capabilities. So I like to think of it as you're going to hire out to a skill to do something for you, right? And so and that might just be again, in this case, it's just it's not much of an executive summary. It's kind of funny. It's a very thorough summary, that's for sure. Anyways, it's so skills are just you're going to hire out to some code or to some instructions back to the agent to do work, and that's kind of an example I thought I'd show to everybody.